to Mrs. Klugman.
She's right too. Okay. Holding. Okay, good morning, everybody. We're going to do the chitas of the day. We're going to start with the chumash today. Today's Thursday. We're going to learn the fifth reading of the Parshas today. Holding chapter 14, verse number 22 in the book of Deuteronomy. Aseh to Aseh. You shall tithe all the seed of your crop. It's called tuas zarecha, all the seeds of your crop. Hayetza asada shana v'shana, that comes out of your field every single year. Now she says, what has one matter to do with the other? The prohibition of cooking a kid and a tithing, why the Torah put them together? The Holy One, blessed be He, said to Israel, do not cause me to destroy the developing kernels of grain while they're yet in their mother's womb, meaning in the husk. For if you did not tithe your produce properly, when it is near the ripening, I'll bring forth an earthly wind, an easterly wind, which will blast them as it says, and the blast before it becomes standing grain. And it's brought down to Tanchuma, and just as the cooking the kid in its mother's milk and the tithing are connected, so to the topic of the first fruit, Bikurim, is connected also to the cooking of the mother's milk. To teach us that if you do not bring the first fruits to the temple as commanded, the fruits will wither. So it will be like it's cooked in its mother's milk. Shana v'shana, from year to year, from here we derive the ruling that one may not give tithe from a new crop on the old and from the year's crop on last year's crop. Every crop has to have its own tithing. Once you miss the crop, you didn't take the tithing, you've missed the mitzvah. Verse 23, you shall eat before the Lord your God in a place that he chooses to put his name there. The tithing of your grain, from your wine, from your oil, the firstborn of your cattle, and your sheep, the man tilmat, so you will learn. That you should fear the Lord your God, kol hayamim, all your days. So Rashi says this is talking about Ma'aser Sheni, the second tithing that a person takes. This refers to Ma'aser Sheni, the second tithe. We already learned to give Ma'aser Rishon, first tithing. It's for Truma, and then for the Levites, the first tithing to the Levites, as it says, speak to the Levites. When you take the children of Israel, the tithing, you'll take from them the tithing, and it gives permission to eat anywhere, not only in Yerushalayim. The tithing of the Levi, tithing of Ma'aser the Kohen can be eaten anywhere in Eretz Yisrael, wherever the Kohen or Levi lives. As it says, you eat in any place. Thus, you must conclude, what is this mitzvah over here, where the Torah tells us to bring it to Yerushalayim? This is the tithing, the second tithing. Second tithing must be brought to Yerushalayim. The Jew brought himself to tithing to Yerushalayim, and he ate it there. You must conclude that this is what to eat must be the Yerushalayim. Is another tithing, namely the second tithing. Verse number 24. If you live very far and you cannot carry the tithing to Yerushalayim, you live in Tzvat, you live a couple days journey. In those days, for sure, it took them at least, if you lived far, took a couple of days. You're going to be far away from where God asked you to Yerushalayim. God will bless you. Rashi says that your produce will be too much to carry. So what do? You shall turn it into money. Exchange your tithe for money. Then you take the money, you bind the money, yadecha in your hand, and you go and take the money to Yerushalayim. You take the money in Yerushalayim. You buy whatever your heart desires, but saying whether it's in the cattle, the sheep, by yayin, in the wine, by seicher, old wine. Whatever your heart's desire. You'll eat it there. You'll take the money, you'll buy it, you'll buy the produce in Yerushalayim. Samachta, and you'll be happy, you and your family. Rashi says, whatever your heart's desire is a klal, is a general thing. When the Torah says in the cattle, and the sheep, and the wine, and the old wine, prat, now we go to particular. And then whatever your heart's desire, so here we have the classical klal, prat, klal. In one word, you have a general, particular, and then a general. So it starts off, whatever your heart desires. Then it goes into particular, saying meat and wine, and then it goes again, whatever your heart's desire. So what do you do? What do you do with a klal, prat, klal? Prat. Then you go to the prat. The klal moves into the particular, and it tells you that what the general needs to be. And then the klal again. In this case, we apply the characteristics of the prat to the whole matter. Just as the items listed above, the prat are products of things themselves produced by the earth. Wine comes from grapes. And 2, are fitting to be food for man. So too just the money replacing them must be used to purchase food. You cannot buy a dress. You cannot buy something, clothes or furniture or whatever, or tchotchkes. You have to buy something that is edible. So you got to buy food. So even though Tavas Nafshecha, I want to have a new suit, I can't take the second tithing to take it to buy a new clothes. Verse 26. You should never forget the Levi that is in your cities. Because he has no inheritance in you. Now she said, this comes to tell you, the Litan Maisa, even though you're going to give Maisa Sheni, you should never forget the first tithing to the Levi. This excludes gleaning, forgetting sheaves, the end of the field, all which are left for the poor, and the oldest things. For the Levite does not have a portion in these things, just as you do, and you constantly they are not subject to tithing. So therefore, the Levi if he's not an ani, he needs to have the tithe. He's not to take a lecture from payer. I mean, I'm sorry. Actually, the pay. I'm sorry that the Levi, if he's a poor person, he's allowed to take from the gleaning off of this of these, like you're allowed to take if you were poor, but and you don't have to tithe from the lekha chikrampeya that you gather. A poor man that gathers lekha chikrampeya, it doesn't have to. When the 3 years end. They'll take out the tithe of your crop that year. And you place it in your cities. What does it come to tell us over here? This comes to teach us, that says that the one kept his tithes for the first and second year of Shemitah. He didn't give the tithe for whatever reason, put it aside, and he didn't tithe it. He has to remove them from his house in the 3rd year. Well, verse 29 about Levi, and the Levies and the Kama who has no portion or inheritance with you, and the stranger or the orphan, like or the widow, who's in your cities. And they'll come and they'll eat. 3rd year. Saveyu, and they will be satisfied. Saveyu, and they'll be satisfied. So God will bless you with all the works of your hands, Ashetasa, that you. So now she says, Bar Levi in the third year, Yito Maiserishan, and he'll take us for a tithe. Ager Vayosam, and then the stranger and the orphan will take the second tithe. Maiserani, Shoshanazu, and they don't have to eat it in Jerusalem, like the tithing that is given in the second tithing of the second year. So the Levi and the Israelite who's poor and gets tithe, Maiser Rishon and Maiser Ani, they are allowed to be eaten wherever they want. And they will come and they will be eaten and be satisfied. So now she says, give them enough to satisfy them. Our rabbi said, one must not give the poor from the threshing floor less than a half a kav of wheat or a kav of barley. You go up to Jerusalem with the second tithing, the first and the second year, which have to be delayed to bring, you shall confess, I have removed the sanctity of my house. That's when you make the confession and say, I've not kept the confession. When you bring the kudim, there's a vidu that we say. We say that we've done all the tithing from Be'ate HaKodesh Merabayis. I've emptied out the holy produce from my house, as it's brought down later. The Chisach B'Sichla, when you finish your tithing, I will learn in Deuteronomy chapter. That completes the Chumash. We now go to the Tanya. We're going to start 9th letter of the Alter Rebbe. My beloved ones, my brethren and friends, who are unto me like my soul. He says that Rabbi Yitzchak, 6th Lubavitcher Rebbe, explains in one of his talks, when the Alter Rebbe seeks to imbue his Chidim with love of their fellow Jew, he addressed them, my beloved friends. For by befriending a fellow Jew, one becomes a beloved friend of the Alter Rebbe. Accordingly, it may be said that in the heeding of the Alter Rebbe's instruction, God and Tzedakah, one becomes one of the Alter Rebbe's beloved brethren. I want to hereby as one who reminds and awakens those who sleep, that slumber in the vanities of vanities. Physical things at any time are deemed hevel in the Torah, being airy and insubstantial. They have no true existence. And they serve as no loftier purpose than themselves. They may be given a double expression used above. Airy and foolish frivolity. To open the eyes of the blind. The soul finds itself within the body and allows itself to be led by it. It resembles a sighted person whose eyes are bound and who intelligently, though he may be, is then led like a imbecile. If the Son of God above descends within a body, but can restrict itself from fulfilling its desires, it is considered to be blinded by the body. And Tzemach Tzedek writes in Eretz Torah at the conclusion of Parshas Bahar, the blindness caused by the body must be healed, so the soul may once again behold the truth. So Yabita Lirais Kol Yasham V'Chesed, let them look and see that all the strivings, the cheptam and all the longings, magamasam and all the aiming, the kolbam chayirupim, in everything in which the life of their spirit depends, should be bounded up. B'makar mayim chayim. All our work and all our service should be connected to the divine source of the living waters, which is Chaye Chayim, the fountainhead of life. Kol Yemei Chayim. all the days of their life, and nefesh ad basar, from the respect of the soul and as well as the flesh. So not only during prayer or Torah studies or while performing mitzvahs, a Jew is bound to God, but even while going about in mundane affairs, he should be attached himself to God. Hainu kol mili down, meaning all mundane matters, and the matters in which one earns one's livelihood. Yiske parnos. Lo yeh ke'elu da'av legameh. One should not be like those who do everything for their own sake, acting only out of the desire to satisfy themselves and their families, rather for God's sake. Shvi l'shem shamayim. Ho masecha liyeh b'shem shamayim. V'lo yeh beis Yisrael k'chol hagoyim. Let not the house of Israel be like the goyim, the zonin and the financing of chayev, that feed, provide for their esteemed wives and their children, b'nayu me'ava, and out of self-love, meaning since one loves himself, he loves his wife and his children, or part of him. Rather, his love should be for be holy in its selflessness. Because who is like, as it's written, who is like your people of Israel? Goy echad ba'aretz, a unique nation on the earth. What is the meaning goy echad ba'aretz? What's the uniqueness on this earth? On the earth, the verse says, who is a Jewish nation that is unique on this earth? Alter Rebbe explained that a Jew, even in mundane matters, in earthly matters, aretz, la yafridu, or la yipardu, they should not separate. Me'echad ha'emes, they should never ever separate themselves from the true oneness of God. Chas v'shalom. So the concept of the unity of God signifies that that a part of Him, nothing truly exists. Therefore, everything I do has to be a part of God's purpose. And then by bearing false witness, heaven forbid, chas v'shalom, when he says Krishma every single day in the morning and at night, he says Hashem Echad, God is one. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Echad. The Eibishter is one. He's one with the world. The Daled Ruchas Hashemayim, the Eibishter, and the Daled is always big in the Echad because it symbolizes the four corners of the earth, the four directions of the heavens and the earth below, thus attesting God's unity even in the mundane realms. When I say the Shema, I'm testifying that God is united with the world. He's one with everything in the world. And if I'm doing it for selfish reasons, then I'm breaking that testimony. The eyes of the blind are open. And here the Alter Rebbe addresses those whose eyes are blinded by corporal matters. Can you close your eyes upon him as if he's no more? God forbid. This means to say that immediately upon opening his eyes, after reciting the Shema, such a person can view the world as if the self-sufficient entity. He just said Hashem Echad, separate from the distinct and from the Creator. Accordingly, and moreover, he conducts his affairs in selfish manner rather for the sake of how is it possible? You just said a statement. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, that maybe just one with everything in the world. So he says, that this approach shall be befitting to us. Liyas, or the Nusaf of Biyais, Kol Askenu, the Mile, the Almalay Legamay. All our involvement in mundane affairs should be conducted not for its own sake. We should all do physical things, mundane things, but in order to animate the soul, to provide sustenance for the fellow Jew, whose souls are virtually, so to speak, portions of it. That's why we need to give tzedakah. We need to work and make money to help another Jew. To supply what they lack with gratitude and kindness. In that way, we make the form, the soul, resemble he who formed it, meaning God who is one. We make the form of a person to its creator, which is God. For the chesed of God endures throughout the day. Chesed shalem, meaning at all times a true chesed without thought of reward. Animate the universe and all that fills it at every single moment. So in imitation to God, who thus dispenses kindness, animates all created beings, man too should act kindly towards others and sustains those in need. Indeed, this should be his ultimate purpose when engaging in his work or in his commerce, to be able to provide sustenance to the souls of his fellow Jews. According to the above, however, one should provide for the needs of others to the very same degree that he provides for his own family. Why then should the needs of his own family take precedence over the needs of others? So the Chayda, why maybe he should support others before he supports himself? Then the answer is actually the only difference is that you have to learn Shulchan Aruch, what it means to give charity. And your family is a charity. You're supporting your family is a charity, and your family comes first in Allah. They come before Al Pitayra, according to Allah. Like the Torah says, your city, the poor people of your city come before another city. Your family comes first in Allah. The Rebbe wrote the connection with Tzaddikim, Ramendel Vitebsk, and Ram Kalask, as well as his colleagues and disciples, who at the time were writing, had already left the diaspora and living in the Holy Land. So therefore, the Alter Rebbe goes on to say that in halacha, so why am I asking you to give to these great people in the land of Israel? Chutz mitzaddikim shebeder. In halacha, tzaddikim, your teachers, come before your family. In halacha, shebehem kreid levanav, who take precedence over one's own children. Tzaddikim sheberetz Yisrael, and the righteous Jews of Eretz Yisrael, they take precedence over the tzaddikim in the diaspora. Especially the fact that there's Alter Rebbe wanted the history, wanted a Mendel Haradoka to take over the Mitzvah Magid. But the Mitzvah Magid went to the Mendel Haradok, in Tveria. He went to Eretz. That's how the Alter Rebbe became the leader of Chabad, because the Mendel Haradok went to Eretz and Alter Rebbe stayed in Russia. The Alter Rebbe Russia supported a Mendel Haradok and his followers in Eretz. And that Alter Rebbe held very esteem on Mendel Haradok, and therefore he writes these words: when the Mendel Haradok left Russia, and he went to Eretz Yisrael, that he didn't leave over anybody like him. So the Mendel Haradok, who the Alter Rebbe said, the tzaddik of the generation, has left us, and he's living in Eretz Yisrael, and there's no tzaddik like him anywhere else. So therefore, surely we should all support and give tzedakah to the Mendel Haradok. But Daila Mavin, this will suffice. This is another letter, and Alter Rebbe writes the greatness of giving charity, and the greatness of giving charity to Eretz Yisrael, and especially to the righteous Jews of Eretz Yisrael. And that completes the Tanya of today. Today is the 28th day of the month. And the Tillim for the 28th day of the month is chapter 135 to chapter 139. If you do those for 135 to 139, you will have accomplished the chitas. And I wish you all a wonderful and beautiful day. Mitzshem, I'll see you at tomorrow at 8 a.m. We'll continue the chitas of the day. I'm traveling, so therefore I will not be there at 10 a.m. for the parsha of the week. I'll be flying. So I wish you all a wonderful and beautiful and happy and healthy day. Mitzshem, we'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m.
And we wish you a